Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1459A, and today's date is December 28th, 2017, and the title of the episode is, So It Begins, The Central Banks Will Not Stop Until You Are Convinced. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, as we know, there are many things happening in the economy right now. First of all, the actual people's economy, it is breaking down. Yes, there's manipulation going on. And yesterday we talked about the retail numbers and all the different aspects of how the economy is breaking down and different indicators that we've been seeing where everything is continually breaking down. Now, of course, the corporate media, the Fed, the government, they're going to continually use the manipulation to their benefit, where they're going to manipulate the news, they're going to manipulate the statistics, they're going to manipulate everything to convince you that everything is fine here in the United States. But it is not actually not just the United States, but the world. And the reason for this is because they're planning to shift everything to a new system. And part of this, most likely, is going to be a crypto system. Now, again, the crypto system is a fantastic system. It's completely decentralized in the hands of the people. It would work very well. It would take everything out of the bankers and move it to the people. Same thing with gold and silver. The problem is that central bankers, once they get their hands on it, this is where things start to go south. And we can see right now, and if you really look at the evidence and you really look at what they're doing, you can see how they are maneuvering to convince everyone that not the blockchain system, but Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency that is not regulated by the central bank, well, that is evil. You can't work with it. It's volatile. You can lose a lot of money, and you're going to need someone to manage it. Now, we saw the cryptocurrencies, they were born. Bitcoin came out. People really didn't know what it was when it first started. And then people started to realize, okay, I see what this is. It's a whole ledger system, decentralized with different servers around the world. And you can trade and purchase goods with these coins. They're digital coins. And other cryptocurrencies started to come out where you have Salt, you have Dash, you have Litecoin, you have Bitcash, and you have, hundreds and hundreds of other ones that most of them don't even do anything. It reminds me of the internet, when internet sites were just popping up, and most of them, they couldn't make a dime. They weren't worth anything. They were just popping up all over the place, and everyone was really making a really big deal out of them, and nothing really came about them. Most of them went out of business. But what we're seeing right now is that the central banking system, those people who are handling the economy of the world, they want to be in control of the currency. Plain and simple, that's what they want to do. So what they've done, and we're starting to see the big picture right now, where they've been most likely using free money, just like they've done with the stock market. They've been using free money where they create this money out of thin air, and they're using it to basically pump up Bitcoin, just like they do with the stock market, just like they do with the housing market, just like they do with pretty much everything. And what they can do is they can make this market go higher and higher. Now, people feel good when it's going higher. When you're seeing it going up this fast, you have to question it. Is this a bubble? Isn't it a bubble? How many people know about it? How many people are invested in it? And when you look at it, you can see why the central bankers would want everyone to get involved with it. And if they can't get involved with it, they want it blasted out on the corporate media on how fast Bitcoin is going up. Think about why they're doing this. Think about why they would need to do this. Now, as Bitcoin moves up, they start putting out articles. We've seen it in different publications where they're saying that the Fed is looking to create Fed coin. They're looking to they have developed the other type of coin, which is the utility settlement coin. These are big banks that have been working on this for quite a while. And we can see that as they continually pump this up and it drops, they can say, see how volatile it is, and then it moves up again. People feel comfortable about it. The corporate media reports on it. And this is what they want. They want this out in the public. They want people to know. Even if there's not a lot of investors working with Bitcoin, they just want the public to know what is going on here. And then what they're going to do is they're going to start to demonize it. And we've already seen this. They're already saying, well, look, Bitcoin is used for the WannaCry malware, where you can basically shut down system across, the world and ask for ransom to get your system back online. And of course, then they link this to North Korea, but that's a whole different story. And what they start to do is they start to demonize this. And the Washington Post, they began an article where they started to talk about Bitcoin. And this is an excerpt from the article from the Post that just published entitled, "Bitcoin's Boom is a Boon for Extremist Groups." And when you look at this, you can say, well, what is this? Well, it goes on to say that racists, criminals, tax evaders, drug dealers, they are going to use Bitcoin. They're going to use it. They will take advantage of it. And basically, this is the choice of currency that they will use. Now, this is the part where they're demonizing Bitcoin, because they want people to understand, and this is why it's coming out of the corporate media, they want people to understand who uses this type of cryptocurrency. They're not talking about the blockchain. They're just saying Bitcoin, or certain cryptocurrencies that the central banks are not in control of. And we can see right now, this is what they're planning. So they pump it up. They make everyone feel good. They drop it a little bit. They pump it up. They drop it a little bit. They show how it's so volatile that it can't be controlled. And they want more and more people to understand that, yeah, this is a problem here. Then they demonize it. Well, this is bad. Countries like North Korea use it. Terrorists and others, racists and drug dealers, they use this. This is why we need to get rid of it. If you look at this, this is what they've done with cash, where they can go to a digital currency system. Well, they're doing the same thing with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin in particular. And they want you to see how bad this is. Now, eventually what they're going to do, after their ongoing demonization is finished, what they're going to do is they're going to come in and say, look, Bitcoin just fell apart. And it's not going to fall by 300 or 500. It might even come down halfway. I'm not saying it's going to, but it looks like this could be their plan, where they bring it down halfway to show you, hey, look, this is really volatile. This is not stable. People shouldn't be in it. It's very difficult to regulate because we don't have control over this. And it looks like what they're going to try to do is they're going to present this to Congress, and other countries are going to present this into their government bodies and say, listen, we need to control the system. We need to use the utility settlement coin or the Fed coin, whatever they come up with. There might be multiple ones where different countries use different ones, just like they'd have different currencies today. And we can see that this is exactly what they're trying to do now. This is the push they are using to convince everyone. Now, what's very interesting, and I said this before, China and Russia, they're still part of the central banking system. The BRICS system is still part of the system. And what is happening right now is everything is moving from the west to the east. At the same time, they realize, and the central bankers realize, because they're out there doing this, we need to have some type of low-level digital currency where the people are able to use this to trade. Now, we'll have a high-level currency where the countries will be able to trade, but we need a low-level currency where people can trade and do business. And it looks like this is what they're trying to do. And this is why they're continually pushing the idea that Bitcoin is scary. You shouldn't have it. But I think Bitcoin is good. If the central bankers, take their hands off of it and let the people use it, I think all the cryptocurrencies are pretty darn good. I mean, some of them are worthless. They're going to just disappear. But there are many that are very, very good that could be used for many different things. And what we're seeing right now is the BRIC countries and the Eurasian Economic Union, they have, it's been proposed by the Central Bank of Russia to maybe have their own cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency looks very promising. It looks like we could use this to stabilize the currency system. And it looks like the central banks there, which is where the central banks are going to be located, we can control this. Now, it looks like they might have a cryptocurrency for Russia, for the BRICS. There might be a separate cryptocurrency for the United States. There might be one for Canada, and people will use these cryptocurrencies to trade back and forth. I'm not saying that this is all set in stone, but this is what the central bankers want. Eventually, as we enter this transition, this is what they're going to try to do. They did just forget about take away the technology, take away computers, just think of the currency. It's a currency, okay? Just like the dollar, just like the euro, just like all the different currencies. Before the central banks were involved in 1913, the government, the people, issued the currency. There was no interest attached, and everything could be accounted for. It was backed by gold. The central banks wanted to get involved, and they made their play by telling you how the system can't stay afloat, and they made the stock market crash. They got involved in certain things, and they were able to manipulate the economy to force the U.S. into going with what they wanted, that is control of the currency. The same thing is happening now, where something came out, the people are controlling it, people are getting involved, more people want to use it, and they don't want this to happen. This is why they're doing this. It's the same thing. We're just repeating what happened prior to 1913 and before the U.S. Central Bank II, this U.S. Central Bank I, going all the way back in time to the British government. The same exact thing is happening where they want control. Now, we're going to be going through this transition, and no matter what, we're going to have a very bumpy, rough time going through this transition. And do we know exactly what currency we're going to end up with? No. And this is why we need to protect ourselves. Now, we know that China and the BRICS, they're going to be starting their own trading system in gold. And we understand that Russia and China, they've been purchasing a lot of gold. We understand there's the petro yuan. You can see how this is all taking shape right now, where everything pretty much looks like the U.S., but it's in China. Everything that we have here in the United States looks pretty much the same that's in China now. And they're starting to deal outside of the dollar using the petro yuan. The United States had the world's gold after World War II. Now Russia and China have a lot of gold, and people say that the United States has no gold. So you can see how everything has been duplicated. The trading system, the Shanghai Gold Exchange, they're starting this BRICS trading system, and if they can basically revalue gold, guess what? They have a lot of it now. They bought it at $1,100, $1,200, $900. Whatever they purchase their gold at, it's just going to go up. And they will have the country's currency backed by gold, which will allow the world to say, okay, this is safe. Then at a lower level, what they're going to do is they're going to try to control the crypto markets by having governments say, yes, the only currency that you can use in the crypto market to get paid in, to purchase in, to do any type of transaction is the Fed coin or any other type of cryptocurrency like the utility settlement coin. Everything else is meaningless. It's a commodity. So you can't transact business. It's almost like all the other commodities. And as long as they have that control, all the businesses, everyone that's transacting for goods and stuff like that, you can only use their currency system in the crypto market. And eventually what they can do is get rid of cash, because that's what they really want to do, and bring us into a complete digital system that they can control. This is their goal. This is what they want to do. This is their plan. It doesn't mean it's going to work. If the people around the world say, no, we don't want this, we object to this, and we go to our government, and hopefully the government people listen and say, yeah, the people don't want this at all. They don't want the central bank to handle this. But again, the central bank is going to make it look like the crypto market, which is Bitcoin, is so bad that they need to control it, just like the euro, just like the dollar, just like everything else that's out there. So we can see right now, we're going to be going through this transition. We're going to be moving to a different currency. There's going to be a high-level currency. It's going to be backed by gold. And yes, all of this is going to come into play. And this is why you need to be prepared. You need to have some type of cryptocurrency. You need to have gold and silver. Gold and silver is really going to protect your wealth. The cryptocurrency, you'll be able to, take that, move it into whatever system they're going to come online, or if the people have a system, you'll be able to move that to that system. The gold and silver is just going to go up in price because as the dollar completely disappears and everything is reset, gold is going to skyrocket. This is why Russia and China have been purchasing gold. This is why India and the rest of the countries, this is why they're coming up with a gold trading system. So we have different levels now that they're thinking about, which actually they're not even thinking about it now. They've been pushing this for quite a while. And it looks like we're coming to the point where they're ready to go live with it. Because as we can see, the propaganda is building about Bitcoin, how the Bitcoin is in a bubble, how Bitcoin is volatile, how it's not safe. And they want people all in, just like the stock market, just like everything else. And once they do this, they can convince people this is why we need to control it. This is why we need more laws. Think about when everything happens in the stock market or the housing market, or the student loan market, or the automobile loan market, and things go south. What do they come up with? More laws. More laws to control everything. And this is what they're going to do. This is why you need to be ready and prepared for what is coming. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.